you're ready for us. You have before you this afternoon Fatima Ballard. She is represented by Mr. Brunson of the Sumter County Bar. She is pleading guilty today to a waiver of indictment for distribution of crack cocaine. This actually is a third or subsequent offense, but she's pleading to a second offense. And Your Honor, we understand that that is a serious offense, but it's not a mandatory minimum, but it can't be suspended. So based on that, Your Honor, the state is recommending in exchange for her guilty plea that she receive 10 years suspended on 5 years probation. And during that probationary period, she's to receive substance abuse counseling, and that her probation be able to be transferred to Greenville, because as I understand it now, she's in Greenville, South Carolina. Greenwood, I'm sorry. Greenwood, I apologize.
Man, raise your right hand, state your name.
Fatima Ballard.
You solemnly swear affirm your testimony in court shall be the truth, whole
Yes.
truth, and nothing but the truth, so you are.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, counsel, have you explained the nature of the offense and the elements of the charges to Ms. Ballard?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I have.
And have you explained the possible punishment?
Yes, sir.
She understands her constitutional rights, including the right to a jury trial and to have this case presented to the grand jury.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Understanding all these rights, do you still wish to plead guilty here today?
Yes, sir.
Now, you're pleading guilty to distribution of crack cocaine. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You understand I could give you up to 30 years and there could be up to a $50,000 fine on that.
Yes, sir.
You understand this is also a serious offense.
Yes, sir.
Do you know what that means?
Yes.
That means that this is subject to our 3 strikes law. That if you were convicted 3 times or for 3 other similar type offenses that were considered serious, you could be sentenced to life without parole.
Yes, sir.
You plead guilty because you are in fact guilty.
Yes, sir.
All right, I hear from you, Ms. Dale.
Thank you, Your Honor. This court. This incident occurred on July 2nd of 2020. Ms. Ballard was actually under surveillance. There were a series of controlled buys within close proximity to each other. Those other charges are also being dismissed as part of this plea. But the narcotics unit was actually looking at a house that Ms. Ballard is not the owner of. She was not the intended, I guess, the target of the operation. But in any event, a CI was used. She was recorded distributing crack cocaine to a confidential informant. I understand I've been in long negotiations with Mr. Brunson on this matter. Part of the basis for the plea is that I understand that Ms. Ballard had a pretty significant drug history. I'm sure he'll mention to you some mitigating factors, but we also wanted to make sure that she pled to a serious event, a serious crime, as well as had some time hanging over her head, so that really her future is up to her as to how she's going to live out the rest of her life. So based on that, Your Honor, we would ask that you accept the recommendation.
Ms. Ballard, you heard what the solicitor said?
Yes, sir.
You substantially agree with what she just told me.
Yes, sir.
I find it a substantial factual basis for the plea. The decision to plead guilty is made freely, voluntarily, and knowingly. That Ms. Ballard understands she's giving up important constitutional rights and that she has had the advice of counsel of a competent attorney with whom she says she is satisfied. All right, Mr. Brunson, I'll hear from you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. Your Honor, I stand with Ms. Ballard as her lawyer today, and I stand in support of her, Judge. Ms. Ballard has been through a lot in her life. She was born in New York, moved to South Carolina with a limited amount of family. At some point, she was the only person in South Carolina, had no family here. She began to associate with the wrong group of people, and she picked up some bad habits. You know, she struggled with an addiction to crack cocaine, and as a result, it led her to do the things that brings her before you today. But, Your Honor, unlike a lot of people in her situation, Ms. Ballard has pushed through. She has been removed from the situation that caused her to stand before you. She is no longer associated with the house that she was at the time. She is no longer residing in Sumter County. In fact, she is now reconnected with family.
All right, Ms. Ballard, since the court, you'd be committed to the Department of Corrections for a term of 10 years, provided upon the service of 3 days, time served, plus cost and assessment. The balance is suspended with probation for 5 years. We're going to order you to complete substance abuse counseling while on probation, and that your probation may be transferred to Greenwood to be with your family.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Christian News TY. I'm Tony Conyers. Is there any newsworthy events? We will get them to you as soon as possible. If not, you can follow us on Christian News TY Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube, and you can follow us on our website.
Your Honor, before you is Lamont Dudley Jr. He is charged with distribution of heroin, first offense, and possession of a stolen pistol. He is represented by Will Brunson.
I also understand that you are waiving possible defenses you may have to these charges by pleading guilty.
Yes, sir.
Understand these rights that I've explained. You wish to plead guilty and give up these rights.
Yes, sir.
You pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Bell, tell me about it.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. This offense occurred, on 2 separate dates. The first in time was the distribution of heroin charge. It occurred on December the 11th of 2018 on Rosewood Drive in Sumter. The defendant was caught. There was a controlled buy. There was a CI that he sold a quantity of heroin to. There were other distributions that are being dismissed as part of the plea, but they were in close proximity to this charge.
Pleading guilty, and he has had the advice and counsel from a competent attorney with whom he says he is satisfied. All right, Mr. Brunson.
Please, Court, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, Mr. Dudley is 23 years of age today. That means when he committed these acts that he stands before you, he was at the age of 19. And so, since that time, he's matured tremendously. And I say that because Mr. Dudley advises that now he has been placed with the responsibility of caring for a child. He has 4 children, as he indicated earlier.
2022 GS 430967, distribution of heroin. I find the defendant to be committed to the Department of Corrections for a term of 7 years, provided upon the service of 2 days time served, plus costs and assessments. The balance suspended with probation for 5 years. That will run concurrent with his other sentence that will be announced here shortly. Next on indictment number 2022 GS 430986. Mr. Dudley will be committed to the Department of Corrections for a term of 1 year, provided on the service of 2 days. Balance suspended with probation for 1 year. That will be concurrent with the sentence on the distribution of heroin. Good luck to you, sir. Wish you got a lot of time hanging over your head.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your
All right.
Honor.
Thank y'all.
My name is Aubrey. My name is Reagan. My name is Riley.
And my name is Robert.
For the best news,
Turn down the bass.
push that button and follow us.